I honestly forgot that this whole book tag was a thing until I saw like a whole flood of it coming to my subscription feed. And so I'm like, what the heck? Why not join the trend? Original content? Who's she? Hello guys, it is me, of course, who else would I be? And welcome to what is apparently the middle of the year. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I still feel like it's March, because that's when I went into quarantine. Not because I was sick, but, you know, I don't want to get sick. And I still feel trapped in March. And so, like, who gave time consent to move on when everything else is, like, gone to a standstill, basically? But, y'all, we made it. We here. We're alive. That's something to celebrate. So let's just get right into it. And let's talk about everything good I've experienced this year, bookish-wise, and everything horrible that has happened this year, bookish-wise. And we got 13 questions, oh boy, 13. My editor's gonna love this. Alright, first off, the best book I've read in 2020. So, this year, so far, not that bangin'. I mean, I had a pretty good reading month from January to March, but around April, May, little bit of March, no. I didn't, like, find a good 4-star book or a 5-star. Everything was 3 stars or lower. A lot of DNFs. However, finally, June happened. June, I found some amazing books. And as of right now, my favorite of the whole year. And it is a sinister, short, sadly short retelling of Peter Pan. Lost Boy by Christina here. Lost Boy by Christina. Lost Boy by Christina here. I give up. Y'all saw it. You see that. So you guys, you think you know about Peter Pan just because you watched the Disney movie or you read the original classic? No, you have been duped. You have fallen into Peter's trap. You are gullible. This is the real story, as told by the little boy who would become Captain Hook, Peter's best friend, BFF. How he came to the island, how Peter brought other boys to the island, and all the fights with the pirates they got into as Peter's second in command, their adventures against the many-eyed who are nightmare fuel, and just the many, many ways a little boy like you maybe, could die in this island. And does Peter care? No. It is up to Jamie, our little tiny Captain Hook, to figure out what is going on and why his love for Peter turned into absolute hatred. This book, it was dark, it was gritty, so many intestines. I loved it. Perfect. 99 out of 100 stars. It's a 5. I loved it. I know the author, Christina, I said it. She also wrote a retelling of Alice in Wonderland, I believe, so I might check that out. But if you want something dark, it feeds my dark soul. And for number 2, we have, appropriately, the best sequel I have read in 2020. I can tell you the worst sequel right off the bat. That would be Unravel Me from the Shatter Me series, but we're talking about the best. And have I read a bunch of series? Not good ones. I read the I Hunt Killers trilogy. Second book was bleh. So I'm gonna go with my current read right now. The sequel to the book y'all picked in my last TBR voting thing. That would be The Broken Kingdoms, second book, and the Inheritance trilogy. First book, I was like, it's okay. Like 3 stars, meh. I liked the characters, the world building wasn't that good, just throwing a whole bunch of names out there and expecting us to be able to pick apart who's that and who's that. And also it was just set in one setting, which can work, but when you're a fantasy book and you're talking about all the kingdoms over there too and you're not visiting them, it gets meh. However, Broken Kingdom, the second book, our main character, Ori, she's much better than the first original character. She's blind, but kick butt. She's very interesting. And also, the guy she's partnered up with, Shiny, I love him. There is a mystery in the sequel that is much better than the first book's mystery. And I'm halfway through it, and I'm excited to keep reading it. Because this is the world with, like, gods, their children, the godlings, demons. They're all running free and they really commingle with human society. And that aspect of the whole book is what's like really keeping me in the series because I like these gods and goddesses. Okay, a new release I haven't read yet but want to. This is going to tie in with Skyward because I know Starsight came out. Did it come out in 2020? I think it did, but I haven't read Skyward yet, so I haven't read Starsight yet. But I want to because I want to get into those Brandon Sanderson books because I love me some fantasy. So how can I call myself a fantasy reader if I haven't read fantasy Brandon Sanderson yet. It's basically heretical. Number 4, my most anticipated read for the next half of this year. So, I don't know if you guys heard about this man. Christopher Paolini wrote the best book in the world. You know, big deal, kinda. He's coming out with a science fiction book called To Swim on a Sea of Stars, To Sleep on a Bed of Stars. Someone is doing something with stars. And you know, the second it comes out, maybe even before it, I might just like sneak into a warehouse full of books and steal them. I will be on it. You guys want to buddy read that with me? Hit me up. I will. It will be fun and I will be over dramatic about the whole thing. And if it's bad, I will cry. Number 5, the biggest disappointment. So I tried giving The Secret History a go really recently. However, because of a combination of prescription pills and boredom, I DNF'd it. But it is a temporary DNF because I was super excited for this book. It's about this young man. He gets into this college. He wants to get into this super exclusive Greek program, but the professor only lets like 5 people in. But seeing how genius this dude is, the professor lets him in, and he gets like initiated into this clandestine group. And then, you know, their morals start to slip. They do something bad, minorly bad, then something badder, then baddest, and maybe someone dies. I don't know. I stopped at like page 100. The main character guy, see, I can't even remember his name. He was pretty bland. He was just basically the puppy following the wolf pack. He was kind of there just to be like, what are you guys talking about? Please explain who you are. I'm here to make you expositionize. And it really didn't just hold my attention, along with a bunch of big words I did not care to look up about Greek vocabulary. Biggest surprise. So, biggest surprise. I am surprised how much I love the new Hunger Games book. 4.5. I'll talk about it in a later video. Because so many people don't like it. And I'm like, what y'all talking about? We have one of the earliest Hunger Games told from a young, power-hungry, but poor President Snow's point of view. He's gonna climb those ladders, he's gonna stab some people in the back, and we're gonna be there to see it all. I love my villains, so I was like rooting for him to kill everyone in this book. I did have a few issues with the ending, but like only the last 30 pages. However, the whole rest of the time, it was a party. Ooh, especially like the scientist lady in this book. I want to know more about her. So I hope there is a sequel to this Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is a lame title, by the way, because I want to know more about Miss Scientist Lady. Favorite new author. Okay, I'm gonna be for realsies. Do I actually look at author names when I pick up a book? Not really. And it's not like I buy a bunch of books by one author at one time. Well, I did that at the very beginning of booktubing, but I don't anymore. And because I read a bunch of V.E. Schwab books at one time and liked all of them, she's one of my favorite authors. But as for 2020, let's just say Leigh Bardugo. Ooh, controversial maybe? Because she just astounds me. You write the amazing Six of Crows duology, the meh Grisha, the trash that is King of Scars, and the interesting conundrum that is Ninth House. Like, what is your wheelhouse? Why do you just sprinkle bad, mediocre, and great everywhere like a fairy? So I'm keeping my eye on her because I don't trust her. However, one of my favorite thriller authors, Gren Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen, who wrote The Wife Between Us, they came out with a new book this year. You're Not Alone. I haven't gotten to it yet because the library shut down, but it will be gotten to. Number 8, newest fictional crush. Rook. And also I'm reading Dracula right now, so I think I have a villain crush on him. My newest favorite fictional character. This is hard, because as mentioned before, the bulk of the meh books that I've taken up this year. When I make my end of the year best and worst video, I'm gonna have to just go through my Goodreads stuff and just pick out which books were good in the middle of all the meh. However, let's give a shout out to Jamie from the aforementioned Lost Boy, cause his cup runneth over. With pain. A book that made me cry? Nothing, cause I'm cold-blooded, stone-hearted, and I sold my tear dunks for money. Did you know that Darth Vader had his tear dunks removed when, you know, he was set on fire and they had to repair him? Yeah, fun fact, I read that in a book. A book that made me happy. This book series ultimately came back to bite me in the butt. However, the first book in the I Hunt Killers trilogy, pretty good. 4 stars, I believe I gave it. There are some issues, cliche side characters, that trope of these adults coming into a kid saying, oh, we need your help. Then the kid starts to help and they're like, no, we can't ask you to help. You're just a child. However, it was a bunch of psycho serial killers at each other's throats, and I was very happy. be. I've come to realize I like violence, so maybe I should get into the horror genre. Recommend a good horror book. I'm also very squeamish, so I don't know how that'll work. The most beautiful book I've bought this year or received. Have you guys seen the cover of Strange the Dreamer? I mean, look at this girl. I've always thought that blue and gold together just made like the prettiest contrast. Like on my old Windows desktop, I would have like this regular stock backgrounds, and there was one of like a yellow hill, like a hay hill, and it was just this hay bale up against this perfect blue sky, and I just loved that background. And my cousin's like, why do you have such a boring background? And I'm like, look at the colors. Blue and gold, it's just, it's beautiful. I have not read this book yet. I heard people either hate it or they love it, because it's really flowery, and look at it. It's so pretty, but I am excited. Also, as you guys can see, I turned all my unread books backwards. What books do I need to read by the end of the year? Aforementioned backwards books, obviously. And lo and behold, we are done. You know, it's nice to just sit back and try, well, not sit back, I'm standing up. It's nice to be in some sort of position and think back to what you have read and what really stood out to you. It's hard for me because I have a bad memory, so I rely on Goodreads for everything. But I still have I have 6 months left of this year. And I know there's going to be more beautiful books just waiting around the corner for me to get to them. Answer some of these questions down below in the comments. Tell me the ones that have really stand out in your opinion, and the ones that took you by the throat, whispered in your ear that you're weak and no one likes you, and threw you in the mud and told you that you're awful. And then go burn that book because it's a jerk and you're beautiful and I love you. You have my heart. I have the weirdest outros.